Actually, for us, every individuals, we are faced with this social media age, information overload. How do we actually could live live healthily in this age?
Well, you know, this has changed so fast. I think we have to remember that every time there's been shifts in technology, people have worried, people have worried about the impact of those technological shifts. I mean, the first radio opened up incredible possibilities, but it also opened up propagandistic possibilities. Radio was used during the Second World War as a propaganda tool. I just watched a play which was written in the 1970s called Network about television and the role that television would play. And it was essentially the same sort of arguments we're now seeing about social media, that people don't think independently, that they're just swayed by mass media, by these images that they see. There's a great Canadian social theorist named Marshall McLuhan who talked about television as a cool medium that actually allowed people to not realize that they were being affected so much by what they were seeing. Now we have a new generation, which is social media. We have the same set of fears, and I hope over time we start to learn how to use social media, frankly, in a little more disciplined and responsible ways. I do think people have to find ways of disconnecting. They have to find ways of interpreting what they see or read or hear in social media. I actually think, again, educational institutions have a role to play here. Critical analysis of what you're hearing, the so-called fake news. If people are not given the tools to analyze and they simply believe too much what they're being presented with in social media, that's damaging for our society, I think. Well, it's where I would argue there needs to be openness, but in openness there also has to be critical capacity to analyze. And, you know, not everyone has the same capacity in society, but I think if we have opportunities for academics, for thinkers, to help people interpret, to explain things a little bit better, not in a condescending way, but in an open way, I think social media can then serve its better purposes and be a little less worrisome in terms of its tendency to, it seems, allow people to think only the same thoughts and talk to the same group of people without ever being challenged.